Well, hello friends, my name is Jeremy, this is Red Means Recording, and today we're looking at the Cobalt 8M from Modal. This is an 8-voice extended virtual analog synthesizer module. I just read what it said right there. Basically what it is, it's an 8-voice VA synth with some really ingenious ways of doing its oscillator modeling. And we're going to make some patches while we talk about how it works and record those patches and kind of make a little track, I guess, like a little beat. Does that sound fun? I hope it sounds fun. Here's a sound. Here's another sound. Here's a sound. Here's a fun sound. Oh, it's a naughty sound. Sound. And this is a sound called init patch 312. It's a sine wave. Look, we've got an init patch. Oh, wait. Hold on, friends. We got to do something. Oh, I can't believe I haven't done this yet. I'm going to cue the sexy music. There's a inherent stereo left-right ping-pong to the oscillator voices when you load up an init patch. We're going to leave this in poly mode and turn the width off by holding shift and going to width here. So we actually don't even have to hold shift. There's all this underprint, this sort of light blue here, and that is the shift function. So you can hit shift and turn down the width. So now we should just be dead center. We're only hearing the first oscillator right now, and that is these two friends right here. You can see we have a little light. So let's go ahead and press the algorithm button and get to the first oscillator. I'm thinking that we're going to create like a kind of like saw pad plucky thing. So let's do that. The way that the Cobalt works is that it has a series of algorithms, and I'm just going to turn this knob and you're going to see a bunch of algorithms fly by. All of these have different shapes, some of them more complex than others. And what these are different sort of bass oscillator types. Ooh, look at that. With different controls over them. So you immediately get access to a bunch of different oscillator wave shapes that have sort of a built-in series of cool modulations to them. And you can see that this one's moving all on its own because we turned this knob right here. So A1 and B1 and A2 and B2 without any shift function on control the algorithm settings. That's a small taste of some of the algorithms that are available. And what you probably heard is some like movement that you may have recognized from sounds, synth sounds, because like things like these sync ones are doing what the math is required to make a oscillator sound like it's doing hard sync or something like that. So for this pad thing, or for this plucky thing, I'm going to want probably like a super saw. So I'm going to go over to spread saw. Let us bring in the second oscillator. Oscillator 2, algorithm, spread saw. Now we're going to have some big-ass saws. And there we go. We haven't touched an LFO. We haven't touched anything. We already have some movement to our sound. We have an oscillator drift. This is the non-shift function over here. So let's turn that up and hear how it sounds. A little bit of drift is nice. Let's go ahead and turn the width up and hear how that sounds. So you can hear when you start playing chords with drift, because all the voices are, getting a place in the left-right spectrum, we actually get a not terrible stereo image just with that. So what's next? Well, we have a filter. Continuously morphing multi-mode filter. Let's get some modulation on that filter. And we're going to start with our envelopes. We have 3 envelopes right here: filter envelope, amp envelope, and mod envelope. You click the encoder associated with the LED to get to them. We want our filter envelope. And let's turn up the depth. Let us now add some effects. We have 3 effect engines up here, and obviously you get to it by clicking the encoder like with everything else. Now, at first I thought we had to click this encoder to get through the effects, and I was like, y'all need to change that. That's dumb. But we get a context menu for everything that we press down here. There is a whole menu system down here, and it changes focus depending on what buttons you have pressed. So FX1. What could we add to this? Well, let's see what we got. We got tremolo, lo-fi. I'm going to add a little bit of chorus. So now that I have my chorus selected, I can go up here to these 3 things. There are actually 6 parameters for each effect. You can see A, D, B, E, C, F. And we will access these by turning these knobs. So effects level in. Oh yeah, this is a good time to talk to you about the fact that this has an audio in as well, and you can send the audio into the effects, which is pretty neat. Cool. Well, let's check out these space effects. I'm going to go to FX3. I'm going to turn this. You're going to see we cannot add 2 of the same effect. I have chorus blocked off there. Let's go over to ping pong delay is one of my favorites. And let's change the time. Anything that has a time in here that can be synced to a beat. When you see a time parameter turning to the right, will increase it from 0 to 127, meaning the MIDI range in milliseconds. And then to the left, past 0, will give you the ability to dial in tempos. Okay, well, I think we have a sound. Let's go ahead and record this sequence into Ableton. Oh, wait, I'm lying. Let's do one more thing. Let's assign something basically to the joystick over here, which is the same as our mod strip. It is mod. So we have velo, aftertouch, note, and expression, and X plus, X minus, Y plus, Y minus over here. And velocity, note-based modulation. Really common use for that is filter. So you assign the cutoff frequency to your filter, and the higher you play, it goes up bright, and then the lower you play, it goes down, or vice versa if you do negative modulation. And then we have the X and Y axis, which you might assume correctly goes to our joystick here. So there's our pitch, but right now, nothing is happening up and down. So let's go ahead and fix that. Shift. There we go. So this is what mod looks like in here when you have something you want to attach to something else. It said assign mode latched. So now if I turn this up, you'll see a depth instead of the actual thing. So I'm going to turn this all the way up. And now I'm going to exit that mode, exit shift, and check it out. I can do the opposite and go to Y minus and go to cutoff and turn the depth down all the way. Arturia key step here does not have a bipolar modulation wheel, modulation strip, meaning that I can't go negative like I can on here, but we can't go positive on the mod strip. Let's get something into Ableton, shall we? Something cool about this synth is that there is an associated app with it, the Cobalt app, that is available for free of charge that you can use as a standalone thing, or you can use it as a VST. So it automatically slurps in the MIDI from my key step, and I can just play it. And then I can do all the editing stuff that I want to here. Algorithm 1. You'll see as I play with the app, I get my little dancing triangle friend. It also exposes some stuff that you may not know about by not having combed through the manual. For instance, the different envelope types that we have. So the default envelope type is exponential, which means that there's a bit of a curve. So we have exponential snap, which is even snappier than the exponential. You can hear that. Soft, which is, if I had to guess, I think soft is logarithmic, so the opposite end of linear. Get that nice swell. And that sounds like this on snap. Linear is going to be straight up and straight down. Then we have long versions of all of them. So what does this sound like on like a filter? Well, that's a good question, and it gives us an opportunity to talk about some of the other filter modes in here. In our filter here, we have the ability to morph. This is the resonant low-pass filter, the default type. But guess what? We have other types. So we can actually access that here if we want to. Filter, and then type. There's resonant low-pass. We have balanced low pass. So this is going to not get rid of so much bass when we increase the resonance, which is really, really important. We also have balanced high pass. Let's reverse our envelope here. We also have balanced phase. Listen to that. That's super techie, right? So what I'd like to do now real quick is I'm going to extend our envelopes up a little bit so we have some sustain. And I'm going to assign LFO1 to our cutoff. I'm going to assign LFO2 to morph. I want you to hear what these different filters have for their morph modes, which are, it's pretty cool, honestly. Let's also get LFO3, which we hit by shift click and then hold this down. Let's get this going on resonance a little bit so we can hear the full colors of the wind that are available to us here. Let's add an effect just because I want to. So there's our balanced phase filter with all the modulation going on. Let's hear now the balanced HP. So the balanced HP goes between like a notch and a high pass filter, which is admittedly really nice. Next up is our balanced low pass filter. And then our resonant low pass filter. And if we wanted to be cheeky, we could actually change all of our shapes here. That's super, super cool. Okay, so sequencer. The app makes it very, very obvious if there's a sequencer, and it's really, really easy to record. So I'm going to hit record. The app actually gives us a metronome, which is wild. So watch what happens if I record this. So we have the ability to play and record a sequence, just like that. And we can actually link the sequence to the patch or not. There's a whole bunch of sequences in here. So if I go to this, I go to load sequence and then go up to here. Pretty cool, right? That was fun. Let's talk about randomization real quick. Randomization. And it does seem to build upon the patch that you're currently on. So let's go to a different patch real quick. Whoa. Since this one is low in volume, it's good to show you that there is a patch gain as well as overall volume. So if I turn this up, we're going to see in the audio menu, we have main volume, and that's all well and good. But if we turn this to patch gain, and now we have the ability to boost an individual patch's gain, which is available to us also in the app. Not going to lie, that's a pretty cool randomization. Got some shepherd tone shit going on, doesn't it? Oh, hello. So what do we need next? How about like a pad? I think a little like keyboard pad thing would probably go pretty good with this. So let's go ahead and save this. I'll go to save. It's going to ask me to pick a patch. Boop, boop, boop. I want this one. And we'll say R intro. Intro O. Yeah, that's fine. Great. Wonderful. Do it. Let's use some different algorithms to do this. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go to the midi, and we're going to hold that down for just a second. We are now latched. We want to modulate this. Now we can go to our midi, turn off assign, and start playing with it. One of the interesting things about some of these voices is that in the B1 modulator, you can hear that when I start to turn it up, I will get some movement here, which is cool. But what happens when I turn it further is we start getting these interesting intervals. It actually starts to create chords for us with an oscillator, which is wild. It's really fun to modulate, but we're not going to modulate that this time. Let's get some filter modulation. Wow, that is really aggressive. Let's see. Maybe we have a different one we could use. Oh, that's fucking cool. Let's use that. Let's add a reverb to our thing here. Reverb, and let's listen to the reverb. Let's go to the second page of reverb stuff, and let's hear what we have to play with. We have dampening. Pre-delay. And modulation to give us a little bit of echo, a little bit of flutter on our sound. All right, we're going to record some MIDI. Here we go. MIDI recorded, time to record audio. How about a little arpeggio? And it's right here. So let's turn it on. Let's go ahead and give ourselves some tempo from D Ableton. So what do we have? Well, we have time division. If we go to Shift, we have modes. Lots and lots of different modes, which is cool. So I think I want a typical... Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, cool. So let's dial in the sound a little bit. I want it to be small and plucky, but I want it to be able to get big. So that means we need something with some harmonics to grab onto. Cool. You know what we haven't done? We haven't done any LFO work, so let's do that real quick. Let's mix between these two oscillators with an LFO. Right now it's on retrigger mode, so we're not going to hear it. We need to change the mode. So let's go ahead and exit attachment mode, hit Shift, and turn free. And let's assign LFO2 to this. And again, Shift, mode, free. And there we go. Nice. Let's get some filter envelopes going on. Let's make this unison. Every arpeggiator needs a delay. It's law, basically. All right, let's see how that crazy sound fits in with the rest of our thing we've done so far. All right. We've got our intro. Before we do bass, let's go and record some alternate versions of our MIDI using some different voices so we have like a B section that has like a whole new contrast to it. I really like doing that, taking the same MIDI and applying different sounds to it. So we'll record our intro saw pad thing, we'll record our keys, and we'll record our ARP with new sounds. Let's do that real quick, and then we'll come back and do bass. Yes, indeed, it's bass time. So I like this tube bass a lot, which is basically like a kind of 808-ish style bass, but I want to show you how to make a bass. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go over to an init patch. Kind of sounds like a fart, doesn't it? Hey, there's a real bass. I know I keep on changing my mind as to what we're going to do here, but, you know, sometimes that's how things go. Let's record this. Boss recorded. So what else do we need for this? Well, how about a lead line? But first, let's record an alternate version of our bass, just like we did with all the other stuff that we have doubled, right? Always creating new contrast out of our lines. We're going to build a lead to go with our last section here. And then we're going to put some drums in it, and then I'm going to play it for you. But before that, I will also sort of give you a final rundown of what I think of this synthesizer and, you know, who I think it might be good for. So, lead first. Let's try to do a sync lead. I kind of like that. So we will, let's go over here. Let's go to mod, and we are going to assign mod to, I believe it's here. Go back, and let's adjust our mod envelope, shall we? Let's give ourselves some legato so that our envelope continues through if we hold a note. Let's hear how that sounds in context. That'll be good for the first half. I think for the second half of this phrase, which is like 16 or 32 bars long, we will do a different lead sound. Second lead time, I want this one to be a bit more hollow and sort of chill. The last one was like super aggressive. This one will go a bit more chill. Look at that happy dancing triangle. Look at that little guy. Look at him having the fun there. I love him so much. She's like, hey, look like a little jellyfish. I like that. That's cool. We're going to make that work. That's acceptable. Let me get this committed as audio, and then we'll wrap up talking about this, and then I'll play you the finalized version of this track. So let's recap what the Cobalt 8 is, the Cobalt 8M. It's a tiny baby version, and I don't know if I've mentioned how tiny this is, but it's tiny. Like, look at my hands. I have pretty small hands. This is a little friend. It can put it anywhere. As Tobias Funk says, just insert it anywhere. Don't put it in your butt. It has 2 voices and a plethora of algorithms that all represent a variety of synthesis sort of types, sort of pre-baked math varieties with 2 controls over each, which gives you access to a wide variety of tones, which is cool. And they're easy to manipulate and modulate. 3 envelopes. We have 3 LFOs that can be synced or unsynced. They have a variety of wave shapes as well. We have velocity, aftertouch, and expression. We have width and drift for our oscillator sounds. We have a morphing filter. We have different voice modes that are really useful, including a chord mode, which I haven't really talked about, an arpeggiator, and a sequencer. And all of it is relatively easy to access and play with. Oh, 3 effect engines. Sorry, forgot to mention that. Overall, I found the sound to be actually better than I expected. It's sort of virus-esque. It definitely has a VA feel, but as you've heard from some of the stuff that I've been working with you here, it has a wide range of tone, and we can definitely get warm-ish, sort of drifty sounds out of it, which is always really important to me. So who's it for? I would say anybody that wants, especially in this version, anyone who wants a small footprint, good sounding poly VA with some pretty cool sound design tools underneath it. And anyone who wants to be able to get in and make cool sounds fast, who doesn't maybe have like a full knowledge of like how like sync and other wave folding techniques and phase distortion and stuff like that work. Obviously, you can't do that directly on the synth. It's all done with the algorithms. So if you like things like mutable instruments plots or other sort of algorithmically based like synths that sort of like have models that do things and then you manipulate those models, then this is going to be right up your alley. It's pretty cool. That's where I'm coming from. I think it's a cool synth. I think this version is like $649 right now online. It's up to you whether or not you like how it sounds, and hopefully I've shown you enough of the workflow that you can make a judgment. I'm going to play you the finalized track that we have been recording. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this that I haven't answered in this video, put them in my downstairs area where I store my words, and I'll do my best to respond to you. Thanks for watching. My name is Jeremy. This is Red Means Recording, and I hope you have a wonderful day.